Hello and welcome, everyone. It's the NBA here on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. It's all about the Eastern Conference. That's where the action is today as the Atlanta Hawks get ready to battle. And the Toronto starting five brought to you by State Farm. Bargnani is out there with Amir Johnson. Then there's Lowry. Then it's DeRozan. And it's Ross in at the small forward. And for the Hawks, they've got Devin Harris. Smith out there with Horford. Then there's Kyle Korver. And it's Stevenson in at the shooting guard.
And Atlanta's overall record might have fallen last year, but they stayed just as strong as ever against the East. They were able to chalk up 31 wins against Eastern Conference opponents.
It'll be the Raptors off the tip. Harris against Lowry. He's guarded by Stevenson. Here's Johnson. Outside for Lowry. 4 on the shot clock. Over Smith. They get the rebound. Here's Ross. Beyond the arc. Gets it to go. Bargnani's got the first points up on the board for the Raptors. And the East was a lot stronger. Steve, you're right, this past year. Clark making Atlanta's mark even more impressive. We talked moments ago about how their win total wasn't all that good, but against the East, they did find success overall.
They did. They were a dominant team against the East in a lot of ways. The tide of the dominant conference shifted a bit, and fortunately for Atlanta, they were able to kind of keep up with that shift.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Yes, Kevin, I briefly spoke with Larry Drew. There is one main concern for them, he said, and it's their opponent's abilities to change and alter and block shots. To counter this, they hope to spread the floor early by knocking down some perimeter shots and see if that frees up the middle. Kevin, can they make shots? That's the question.
Thanks for getting back to us on that report, Doris. Guys?
You know, it's really important not to be afraid of the defense over there. I mean, you can't be playing in a fearful fashion. You just got to pick your spots and execute.
Yeah, and be aggressive. You know, you're right, Clark. You can't be intimidated by the speed and strength of this defense. You got to have confidence and take your shots when they're there and attack the lanes when you've got an opportunity. I really like Al Horford's game, guys. He rebounds the ball. He defends. He's a nice passer, too. And he's a guy who can score. Not a fluid post game, but you throw him the ball down there and he can score for you. 3 straight makes to start this game. Looking good.
Here's Lowry. Again, Toronto. Now we touched on Al Horford's passing last season. He ranked Clark first among all centers in the league with 3.5 assists a game.
Yeah, Kevin, I like his ball skills. He does a nice job handling it. He's a good passer. He can rip and run better than just about any center in the league. Excellent mobility.
And here's Lowry. Now DeRozan. Back to Lowry. Here's Bargnani. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Bargnani's got 5 points so far. Toronto on D. Harris kicks to Horford. Rebound by Johnson.
Larry Drew was brought into Atlanta and wanted to help boost the defense, but it seemed to go the opposite direction, quite honestly. Could just be a transitioning phase, but if it isn't, that has to be worrisome going forward to the Hawks fans.
Now here's DeRozan. Horford kicks to Stevenson. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. 5 points in the game.
Every once in a while, he'll show us some pretty good moves around the hoop.
Clark, the Hawks didn't really go the right direction on defense under Larry Drew, and Steve, that kind of surprised me.
Well, they did step it up in terms of being defensive-minded in the playoffs last year. And I think that was important because you're right, Kevin, they weren't great defensively in the regular season under Drew, but you know, sometimes it takes time for a roster and players to figure out exactly what a coach is looking for.
Now here is Lowry, following the miss by Al Horford. Oh! Big time action. Sprite Slam Cam once again.
Not bad there, Kevin. I won't lie. He got my attention with that one.
Well, not just yours. He got everybody's attention.
Yeah, there's like a sense of disbelief in this building after watching that.
Raptors leading by 4. Ross.
Boy, he's got enough hang time there to put a little something extra on that one. 2 scoops of ice cream after that.
Well, that's a play that's going to be remembered from this game, that's for sure.
I think that was more like a banana split, Clark.
Here's Smith. Nice second effort. Good job staying with it. Smith's got 6 points. Here is Lowry. 6 points for him. On baseline, Jay. Ross, that's good.
Boy, that is a sweet feed from his teammate there.
Harris passes to Smith. Bargnani's there. Smith against Bargnani. Nice shot by Smith.
And now 6 of their last 10 points from mid-range.
Yeah, jump shot really serving these guys pretty well.
They can trade 2 for 1 here.
Yeah, that's the right move. Get a good possession here, play defense, and get one more opportunity to score.
The Hawks trail by 4. And here's Stevenson for 3. No good. Good work defensively by Lowry. Here's Toronto. 4-point game. And that's collected by Smith. And so here is Atlanta, trailing by 4. Here's Stevenson, and he converts the layup. Stevenson's got 7 points. 12 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Lowry kicks to Bargnani. Jacks up a 3. Tried to tip it in, but couldn't quite get it. With 1 on the clock. Got it off in time, but it's no good. And at the end of 1, both teams putting up some points. Raptors. Well, up to this point, a closely contested game as we start the second quarter. Harris with it. Still looking to get on the scoreboard.
I'll tell you what, guys, for the Raptors last season, a huge drop-off in their road record. I mean, just 6 wins all season long. The prior season, they had won 15 on the road.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. Setting the floor for the Raptors. We've got Landry Fields. Amir Johnson is out there with Bargnani. Then there's Calderon, and it's Ross in at the 3, the small forward. Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Well, Kevin, Toronto had to endure the loss of yet another superstar as last summer Chris Bosh exited. The trend of big stars leaving Toronto includes the likes of Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, now Bosh, Ido Turkoglu is also a player that got away. The fans above the border hoping that the same thing doesn't happen with their emerging group of youngsters on the roster now. We'll see, guys.
Thank you, Doris. Toronto has had some tough breaks in the free agent market.
You know, you hate to see a city lose so much talent, but I think they'll be able to rebound from it.
Well, they really look to run immediately after that turnover.
Well, that's how you cash in. You don't want to waste any time after the turnover. Go at it right away.
Now, here's Green. Here's Horford. Calderon with it. Now Green defending. Calderon dishes to Ross. Puts it up. Shot's good from Bargnani. Bargnani's got 7. The Hawks trail by 6. Harris outside. Drills it from outside. Here is Calderon.
Boy, Devin Harris, maybe the fastest scoring guard in the league. He's kind of a combo guy in between a point and a 2, but at 6'3", lightning speed, he can really move.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Scotty's checked in for Horford. Johnson comes in for Josh Smith. And Anthony Morrow's subbed in for Willie Green. Now here's DeRozan. Looking for his first bucket of the game. Straight up, dumps it down.
And look at how he posed on the rim for a few seconds after that one. That's never going to endear you to your opponents. They don't like that kind of stuff.
No, he was enjoying that one so much he didn't want to let go.
Yeah, just a little reminder of whose rim it is.
Here's Calderon. Jumps up. Lays it up and in off the pretty assist. And it's a 7-point Raptor lead. We talk about Devin Harris, a combination of driving ability plus a nice step-back jumper make him a real handful for the defense.
Yeah, you know, but going back to his days in Dallas, he was maybe their best perimeter defender as well. I mean, with that great lateral quickness and good hands. That's one area of his game I'd like to see him return to, being locked in and being that disruptive defensive force.
And now the first timeout called here for the Hawks.
Well, the Raptors not only were one of the youngest teams in the league last season, they may have been one of the youngest starting fives in league history. Jared Bayless, DeMar DeRozan, Amir Johnson, Sonny Weems, and Ed Davis. That starting lineup averaged just 22 years of age.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Josh Smith, he's checked in for Scott. Korver comes in for Johnson. And Lewis Williams subbed in for Jenkins. Here's Bargnani. 7-point differential. And the Raptors tack on 2 more. Of course, the truism in the NBA is that young teams don't win much, but you can keep them together. Perhaps that might make a difference. The Raptors hoping their young players, Clark, can turn things around as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you know, they've got some promising players, and I agree with you. You find a young star talent like a Kevin Durant. I mean, that's what everybody's looking to try to do now. It's a lot easier said than done, but we've seen if you get that kind of player, things can turn around pretty quick.
Well, the top 4 players for Oklahoma City, for instance, 22 or younger.
Yeah.
So, yes, you're right.
It can be done.
And some changes here for the Raptors. Ed Davis is checked in for Bargnani. Landry Fields comes in for Linus Kleza. And it's Lowry in for Jose Calderon. And he makes the free throw.
Well, Atlanta was in the playoffs a year ago, but they were not as strong as they were the previous year. One of the reasons their home record suffered a bit.
The Hawks are making a switch on the floor. Teague's checked in. The Hawks trail by 11. Here's Harris. No stopping him there. Jams it in as he's fouled. Chance now for a 3-point play. Kyle Lowry picks one up there. And on that Atlanta Hawk team, still a good team. We talked about, the problems at home. Not as dominant, perhaps, as before. I mean, sure, Clark, for every coach, winning at home becomes priority number 1.
You know, and you look at their numbers, they won 34 a season ago and then just 24 in the recent season. I mean, that's a 33% drop. That's a significant change.
That is.
Lowry really came into camp in great shape last year and took that starting point guard job from Aaron Brooks. And he really turned things on after the All-Star break. Had a great March and, in fact, won his first NBA Player of the Week during that month.
Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, Kevin Garnett, known for his ferocity defensively, and it even extends to after the whistle blows. He's known around the league for snatching down any shots opponents take at his basket in dead ball situations. Garnett said, that's rhythm. When a guy gets an extra shot after the whistle, he's looking at his form, he's looking at his follow-through, and then I just like to break that rhythm up. And in fact, the practice has caught on with other players. KG said they called that the Garnett. The game's passed on. I guess that's what I'm going to be remembered for, so that's a good thing. Guys?
All right, Doris, and no surprise, he'll be remembered for his defense.
And KG, a guy who will use that mental warfare. He wants his opponents to feel frustrated. That's the motivation for him sometimes.
Steve just talking about Lowry, Clark. He really turned it on as the season winded down.
Well, you know what, Kevin? Last March, he averaged almost 20 points and 8 assists a game. I mean, those are big-time numbers, and he showcased what he can be with expanded playing time.
Now, here is Lowry. He's got 8. Smith against Fields. Here's Lowry, and he uses the glass on the layup. And it's a 12-point Raptor lead.
Offensively, just hammering away in the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
The Raptors making a switch here. And it's the Hawks' ball. A 12-point game. Teague, the pass to Smith. And it's Johnson picking him up. And it's Toronto with the rebound. Now here is Lowry. 10 points for him. Harris gets the reach-in call. That's his third foul so far. Bonus situation in effect, so we'll head to the free throw line for 2.
Well, Atlanta was a playoff team a year ago, and they won their share of games. But they didn't appear to be a contender. And despite all the talent that they've had the last few years, you just have to wonder which direction this franchise is headed.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Al Horford, he's checked in for Corver. Jenkins comes in for Devin Harris. And it's Stevenson in for Jeff Teague. Steve, that remark you had about Atlanta, they kind of backed into the playoffs, but Clark, they woke up when they got there.
They did. I mean, it seemed like they were sleepwalking through the regular season, inconsistent and not being able to put together any kind of strong winning streaks. But when the playoffs came around, they showed you what we thought we were going to see during the regular season.
Yeah, you're right. Williams gets called for the reach. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line.
Oh, no. Not the guy you want to put on the line, Kevin. He's an ATM from the free throw line.
The free throw drops for Lowry.
Now, the Raptors were a team that really liked to get out and run last year, and that'll be the case this year as well. They've got some quick young guards in their backcourt. In fact, last year they were second in the league in fast break points. Well, using his height advantage against a much smaller man, that was the right play to make there.
And Smith, no good on that one.
And we're starting to see more free throw attempts, so I like the aggressiveness here in the second quarter, guys.
Well, you know, this is exactly what they need to do to climb back into this game. I mean, initiate contact, play smash mouth basketball, and get to that free throw line. Well, that's a bad miss right there. I mean, you'd like to see him be a little more assertive when he has such good position.
Backs in. 2 on the clock, and he flushes it through. Strike slam cam with the replay.
Yes, indeedy. Boy, I love that one. That's not just any plain dunk. That has some panache to it.
That's an energizer, guys. That is an energizer.
That is, and that will lift the whole team up.
And so that brings the first half to a close.
Good game for Lowry. 13.
Welcome to the HP Halftime Report. I'm Damon Bruce.
And now the third quarter about to get going. Here's Harris.
Boy, I love Landry Fields. He's a nice complimentary player. Does everything well, nothing really especially super, but a good defender at 6'7" and 210 pounds.
We've got Smith. Devin Harris is out there with Stevenson. Then there's Horford. And it's Corver in at the 3 spot. That's the 5 to begin the second half for Larry Drew. Parker talking about Fields and his size and physicality, but he was considered a bit of a late bloomer. Started playing hoops at about the age of 5, but Steve, his body didn't really fill out until he was at Stanford.
Well, interesting, Kevin. I thought his body would fill out at maybe 5 or 6, but I guess it took till he was 18 or 19. That's kind of strange, huh?
And it's Smith missing.
Tell you what, the defender made a nice recovery there. It looked like he was beaten, but he still managed to challenge the shot.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Well, when you look at the Raptors' 16-year history in Toronto, I think the big concern is whether the team can retain its stars. When you look at Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, all great players who decided they wanted to move on. So can Toronto hang on to its own players? That's the big question going forward.
Outside Lowry. Williams picks him up. Lowry kicks to DeRozan. It's blocked. The Hawks trail by 9. Here's Smith, and it's Josh Smith with the finish. Now let's check out the Sprite Slam Cam.
Boy, that's a dunk you will not see very often. You won't pass that one by.
No doubt about that.
I wish he would, though. Can never see too many of those.
Well, and for some of the players who left Toronto, some of them mentioned the higher taxes or even the culture clash. They didn't like cable TV. I mean, they're picking on a lot of different things here. But what do you think really is, Clark, the answer for the NBA, not only in Toronto but in Canada?
Well, Kevin, I don't think it's the city of Toronto. I mean, that's a pretty vibrant metropolitan area, terrific diversity, a lot of things to do. I think the bottom line is the players feel that they can win with the Raptors. They'll want to hang around.
Yeah, and they got good restaurants up there, too.
Yes, good eateries. I knew you would chime
I knew you
chime in about that.
I knew you liked that.
Knew you would chime in about that grill. So a couple of poor possessions now in a row consecutively. Both times turnovers. That's not productive basketball. That's not winning basketball.
Nah, Clark, you know, you start stringing errors back to back together, you lose all momentum in this game.
So timeout called here, the first for Toronto.
You know, because the Hawks struggled late in the season, regular season that is, they were overlooked in the East during last year's playoffs, but I think they used that to their advantage.
So for the Hawks, Jenkins, he's checked in for Corbin, and it's Teague in for Lou Williams. Here's Lowry. He's got 15. Poked away.
Good defense there. He was just waiting for that one.
Here
There isn't anybody in the building that didn't appreciate that throwdown.
Well, Steve, that's as fancy a finish as you could possibly get.
A serious degree of difficulty on that one.
Guys, you look back at all the teams that have won the championship, and a lot of them have had X-factor guys, somebody who is an edge. And I think you could point to a number of guys for the Mavs, but how about the Sean Stevenson? He came up with some big shot making for the Mavs in their championship run.
Stuffs it through.
And the pace has really ramped up in the second half.
Steve, I like the re-energized effort here. I mean, it's been a battle.
Here is Ross. Backing in. Can they get it? And he zips to the basket and lays it in. Bargnani's got 11.
Well, going back to Deshaun Stevenson, you know, I think he brought an edge and a nastiness to that Mavs team that may have been lacking in recent years. And along with guys like Tyson Chandler and Sean Marion, Stevenson gave them the defensive versatility that helped turn that team into a more well-rounded club. That was one of the reasons they were able to finally get that championship.
Toronto calls timeout.
You know, when I look at Josh Smith, I can't help but think back to the 2005 dunk contest that he won. A lot of fantastic, spectacular dunks from him. A great display of his bounce ability.
Johnson, he's checked in for the Hawks. And the Raptors making a change here. Here is Lowry. He's got 15. On the top of the key. They get it back. Goes back up. Goes back up. And another shot. Valenciunas, good.
You know, the hardest part of that play was getting to the rebound. After that, it was easy.
Here's Stevenson. Again, the Hawks good for 2.
And I think defensively, you've got to commit a second defender because he's just destroying you right now.
Yeah, one-on-one, he's been a handful.
Clark, I remember that dunk contest you brought up with Smith. Seeing him take off and dunk over a sitting Kenyon Martin still sticks out most to me, Steve.
Yeah, and how about the tribute to Dominique Wilkins as well when he took Dominique's jersey, put it on. That was one of the better dunk contests we've seen. And Smith, remember, he scored a perfect 50 on 3 of his 4 dunks. He was amazing.
So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe.
Could have had more there, but at least he made it a 2-possession game.
Outside Lowry. Now here is Valenciunas. He's covered closely. 6 on the shot clock. Outside Lowry. Over Horford. But they get it back. And It's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over.
Kevin, defensively, they're giving a better effort here in the second half. I mean, they seem to be settled down. They're communicating. They're working together. And that allows you to play good D.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Scotty's checked in for Horford. Smith comes in for Johnson. And Lewis Williams subbed in for Jeff Teague. Here's Smith. Cannot hit. Now the Raptors take it the other way. 54 seconds left in the third quarter. Now here's Calderon. Tight defense on him. DeRozan dishes to Ross. Davis over Smith. And Davis gets it to go. Davis has got 7 points in the game.
Well, they've done a lot of their damage from mid-range here, guys. I mean, knocking down those shots with regularity.
Yeah, how about 8 of their last 10 points, guys, coming off that mid-range area jump shot. So, shows you don't have to be at the rim to score.
No good from Ross. Here's Stevenson. Some nice passing. And Smith backing in. Up with it. And he makes good on the layup. Smith's got 26.
Kevin, great finish on the low block. I love it.
Calderon for 3. And that's it for the third quarter. Both teams scoring well as we head to the fourth. And now let's send it to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke, for our Sprite Spark of the game. Doris?
Well, guys, it was the stretch by the Hawks that garners the Sprite Spark today. Some fantastic effort and work on the defensive end in the third period has been crucial to them gaining control and setting the tone. Most important for them, building the lead. We'll see if they can keep it, guys.
Thank you, Doris. Everything really clicked for them, Clark, during that run.
Yeah, it sure did. I mean, it ignited them offensively.
To the point, Clark, where they were really in complete control at that end of the floor.
On the court for Toronto to start the fourth. Calderon is out there with Landry Fields. Then it's Amir Johnson. Then it's Bargnani. And it's Ross in at the 3 spot. The Hawks leading. Here's Williams. He takes it up and lays it in.
Just an unbelievable display of offense here today.
Well, it seems like every shot that goes up finds its way to the hoop. I mean, every player is sharp and on target. He got a little room at the rim and laid it in. Great play.
Harris outside. Stolen by Bargnani.
The turnovers have upticked for them. They can't afford to let their concentration lapse here.
To tie it up. Fields' shot is good. Fields has got 4 points now in the quarter.
Well, you just see them taking it strong into the paint over and over again.
Yeah, that really seems to be the strategy, partner. I mean, pound it inside.
Well, he just does so many things well out there.
A true pro, a professional display he's put on here.
I'm not sure what they're thinking offensively. Poor decision on that pass.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Great awareness by fouling on that layup. Make him earn 2 points.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, send him to the line instead of giving up an easy 2.
Atlanta making some changes. Scotty's checked in for Horford. Green comes in for Jenkins. And it's Stevenson in for Lou Williams.
Solid advantage in the rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here.
Open look. And the basket by Harris.
And we have seen the intensity pick up big time here in the second half.
Well, you can feel the desire from both teams that they really want to win this one.
Here's DeRozan. The pass to Lowry. Number 4. And there's the rejection. But they recover it. Bargnani. The shot's good on the assist by Lowry. Lowry's got his 5th assist in this one.
Boy, I like the fluidity I'm seeing from them on offense. It's a thing of beauty. Fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. They're moving the ball well, finding the open man, making that extra pass. They're playing very unselfishly right now.
Man, he's got a lot of firepower right now. I mean, what a half he's having.
Stevenson is whistled for reaching in. That is his first foul of the game. Al Horford is checked in for Atlanta. Johnson comes in for Josh Smith. Here is Anderson. It's stolen by Harris.
Boy, Kevin, you have to take better care of the ball, and they just haven't done that this half after doing a good job in the first.
Well, that's great. You take advantage of that turnover and convert at the other end.
Absolutely. I mean, points off turnovers this time generated off the steal.
And here's Lowry. Fires the three. The offensive rebound. Johnson, the pass to Ross. Knocked away. A shot by Johnson, no good. The Hawks leading by 5. Guys, a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, just some self-assurance. I like what we're seeing.
Toronto calls timeout. They're trailing by 7. 1:46 left here in the fourth quarter. Broadcast on for us right now. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, Dwayne Casey was just going over the plan with his team. The only thing he addressed, the turnover situation. Telling his guys, we simply can't survive if you don't handle the ball properly. Slow it down and make smarter decisions. Let's see if they can do it, guys.
Now Lowry puts up the baby hook, and it's good off the glass.
He knows how to get to the basket, guys, especially when the defense is soft like it was there.
Smith. And good coming on the assist from Devin Harris. And that's now 33 points for Smith. Here's Lowry. 1:29 left in the fourth quarter. Gives him the lead pass. Goes up. They rule this one. Goaltender. Caught the shot.
It's a tough pass to make there, guys. Right into the heart of the defense.
Here's Harris. Stevenson with it. And the layup's good off the glass. Stevenson's got 11 in the second half. We've got 1:18 left to play in the final quarter. Outside Lowry. He's guarded by Stevenson. Lowry kicks to Ross. Right up. They turn it over. Here's Harris. Clark, if they want to, they can milk the clock just a little bit here.
Amen. I think that's the best option.
Bargnani against Smith. Fades back. Gets it to go. And it's a 9-point Hawks lead.
Well, I like that he's come up with some big baskets for this team to help him out in getting this lead.
Now here's DeRozan. He's guarded by Stevenson.
Great close out there, forcing the errant shot.
Well, he made it a tough shot again. He didn't give up on it.
And Smith slams it home. Phenomenal play. Now the replay from the Sprite Slam King.
And that ought to do it. That should seal the deal.
Yep, I agree. Closing it out with relish.
7-second difference, shot and game clock.
You got to wonder about the effort defensively. They did not get back there.
Yeah, you know what? A beautiful finish one way or the other, though.
Here comes Harris. Fades and shoots. Smith with the basket on the assist by Harris. Smith's got 39. And Toronto has possession. They trail by 11. No good from Bargnani.
Yeah, looks like this one's out of reach.
Yep, just a matter of the clock running out now.
And he places so much emphasis on his rebounding at both ends of the floor.
13 feet out. And there's Horford. That's good on the assist by Harris. And the Hawks lead by 11. Here is Lowry. Top of the key. Back rims that one. Misses there. And so it's the Hawks.